Spirit. Therefore, there are not 7 utterances, rather there are 3. Matthew and Mark's gospel, I don't believe that there are 7, rather they said there's only 1, and that is, my God, why have you forsaken me? But in our education and in our development, we were able to postulate which word or which utterance would probably go where. But to do justice to the pericope, we are coming from John's perspective, and this is the first word that Jesus utters from the cross. The first word that he utters from the cross, according to John's perspective, is, woman, behold your son. And to the disciple he loved, he said, behold your mother. Somebody say, handle your business. Handle your business. So then when we begin to understand John and why John would have these 3, you begin to understand first with Mark, that Mark's gospel desires to allow people to see Jesus as a suffering servant. That's why Jesus' last words would be, God, why have you forsaken me? Matthew's gospel doesn't seek to show Jesus as a suffering servant, but rather wants to see Jesus as something prophetic for the Jewish people. And therefore, when Matthew records Jesus saying, my God, why have you forsaken me? He's not having Jesus say this of his own accord, but rather he's saying, Jesus is saying this in quotation to Psalm 22, my God, why have you forsaken me? Therefore, it is a prophecy that although I'm dying, I will be vindicated, which means Israel will ultimately be vindicated. Luke's gospel is one where he likes to paint the picture of Jesus as married to the cast aside, the cast down, the forgotten about, the marginalized, the people who are trodden over and thrown to the back of the bus, which is why he would then speak about Father forgiving them, and to the thief you can get with me in paradise. And then at the end he completes it by saying, God, it's all in your hands. But this man named John desires to do something very deep but very simple. He desires to bring to us the realization that Jesus is but a mere man. Jesus is a mere man, just like everybody else. Jesus is a mere man. However, what is different about him, what differs him from the rest of us, is that we who are mere men and women, we have a spirit that was given to us by God that would allow us to function and be alive. Y'all with me? Yes, but what's different about Jesus is the spirit that he had that would allow him to be alive was not a spirit given to him by God, but rather it was the life-giving spirit in and of itself. What John desires to say is that Jesus was a regular man just like everybody else. But what differed in Jesus was that he was the life-giving spirit instead of having received a life spirit from God. Are y'all with me? Therefore, in order for us to understand John's gospel, we have to understand that we are able to relate to Jesus, because just like Jesus being a human being, we all are connecting to him. And so if we connect to Jesus because we recognize he is like everybody else, John, we got you, we got the revelation, then what begins to stand out about John's gospel is he wants us to recognize that in these ordinary earthen vessels, something is deposited in us that enables us to do superordinary things. Are y'all with me? We are regular human beings in earthen vessels, but God has gifted each of us with an endowment that empowers us and enables us to do superordinary things. And so here was this man named Jesus Christ. He's on the cross, and as he's on the cross, he's not actually suffering because a commentator said the logos that was in Jesus was the mind of Christ and the Spirit of God that was in him. And when I pledged, I learned this principle called mind over matter. They taught me this principle called mind over matter because they said if you don't mind, it doesn't matter. Therefore, whatever painful experience you are undergoing and feeling, if you channel in your mind that pain is minimal and inexistent, then you will be able to go through an experience without feeling that the pain is enormous. Are y'all with me? So here it is then that John has Jesus on the cross, and he's really not necessarily suffering, but rather he's engaging in some business that he has to take care of because of this superordinary special gift that has been deposited in him. All right, I'm almost there. The sermon is only going to be 5 seconds long after I set this up. And so while Jesus is on the cross, the first thing he has to do is handle his business. He has to handle his business, y'all. He's on the cross, and what that's says to us that there is no pain too great. There is no trauma too diversive. There is no hardship or heartache too great that it should be able to stop you and keep you in your tracks from doing what God has designed and called you to do. Too often, we use excuses as to why we can't do what God has called us to do. But God said, come into this word at Calvary, because one thing you've got to know is that you got to handle your business. I'm almost there. I want you to see it. Can you see it? She looks up and she begins to behold her son. Can y'all see this? She's looking up and she beholds her son. And as she beholds her son, she sees his face as it is disfigured and dismembered. His face is swollen and is puffed up. She looks up and she beholds her son. And the reason she has to look up is because every mother knows that to see your child or your loved one, fathers and brothers and sisters too, in such a traumatic state will weaken you to your knees to the point that you can't bear to stand what you see. And she's looking up and she's looking at her son, and as she looks at him, she sees how disfigured his body is, and she sees the bruises on his face from where the steel hit his face and when it broke some of the bones in his face, and she sees the marks around his neck as it tightened him because it pulled him deep down into the riverbed. And Mamie Till looked at her son, and she looked at her son as he was disfigured because he was accused of whistling at a 21-year-old white cashier. And she looked at her son disfigured when they pulled his body out of that river in Mississippi. And she beheld her son disfigured, and she said, no, when we put him in this casket, it needs to be a see-through casket, because everybody ought to see how ugly evil is. Everybody ought to see how ugly racism is. Everybody has to see how ugly the wickedness of man's heart can be. Don't you cover up that casket. Open it up so everybody will see my baby. But Jesus being on the cross, 2 minutes left, Jesus being on the cross is actually Jesus speaking out for every mother, for every black boy that died under a black mother who could not speak for themselves past their death. He's speaking for Emmett Till right now, and he's speaking for all the blacks that were shot down from Ferguson to New York to Chicago. He's speaking out against every black child, every black male that was looked at as a piece of meat and something that wasn't serious or of any real commodity. He's speaking out for all of them because in him is a supernatural ability to do that. And so what he says to Mamie, this woman who came from Mississippi, moved to Illinois, was a straight A student, the fourth black one to graduate from high school. Mamie, the one who excelled in her academics, who fell for some Negro that was able to smooth talk all the women. This Mamie who fell for Louis Till. She fell for him, and her mother and father said, don't you mess with Louis because he's too grown for you. I know what he about, don't mess with him. But Mamie was so in love and caught up that she wanted to get with him anyhow, got with him, had their baby Emmett 9 months later. 2 years later, they were separated and divorced, and he kept stalking her because when it's good, it makes you stalk him. Y'all missed that, but y'all catch that later on your drive back in. And she started stalking him, but the judge said, Louis, I'm gonna put you in the military because you won't leave Mamie alone. Either go to jail or go to the military. Louis got into the army, was killed in Italy. He was killed in Italy with some trumped up charges, being hung. But here it is then that Mamie is raising her boy all by herself, just like Mary, whose past was reputable and questionable. Why? Because she got with Joseph, and they say, well, we don't know if Mary got with Joseph and had sex and produced Jesus, or if it was an immaculate conception. Let me pause. John's gospel does not care if Jesus was born of a man and a woman. It doesn't care about an immaculate conception. That's why John's gospel does not talk about Jesus' birth, but rather all John is concerned about is how God can inhabit an ordinary person to get this ordinary person to do some super ordinary things. Slap your neighbor high five and say, God has gifted me, an ordinary person, to do super ordinary things. 1 minute on my way to my seat. And so Jesus speaks to the grave from Emmett, and he looks to his mother Mamie. He said, like this. He said, but Mamie, you've got to handle your business. You can't stop right here in your grief. You can't throw in the towel right here. No, you've got to handle your business. What are you saying to me? And after Emmett died, Mamie went back to school, and 3 years later got a degree from college, took up the clothes of her son, remarried again in 67, and started to do what she was called to do. Live the life that God has given her. I understand that the road gets rough. I understand that it gets rough sometimes. I understand friends stab you in the back. I understand you lose jobs and your money gets funny. I understand that things get topsy-turvy. But Jesus